Kenya, Mount Kenya, Mount Kenya.
Welcome to our today's session on our TV production in the Department of Journalism, School of Social Sciences. My name is Mr. Michael Mwangangi. On to our objectives. Within our session, we wanted to understand the different sections of our TV studio. We want also to understand the parties involved in the program production. And finally, try to understand what happens for a TV program once produced at the studio to its reception by different TV sets within the transmission range of that particular station. Now, TV production is the process of creating audio and visual programs with an aim of broadcasting them to the mass audience. You can as well say that TV broadcasting is the process of sending and receiving pictures and sound by means of electronic signals transmitted through wires and optical fibers or by electromagnetic radiation. These signals are usually broadcast from a central source, that is a TV station, to reception devices such as television sets in our homes. The TV production process involves creating a TV environment, and this environment is achieved by the creative combination of different elements such as the camera work, makeup and costuming, the lighting, the set designing, directing, the talent and the production team, among others. Now, in our TV stations, we usually produce different programs, which as well sometimes we refer to them as program formats, which includes news programs. We have documentaries, talk shows, feature programs, magazine programs, drama productions, children programs, among others. So these TV programs can either be done indoors, that is within a studio, or on location, that is in the field. The television production environment for the typical TV station can be best understood by defining the television workspace as follows. We have the studio, or what we are referring to it as the studio floor. This is basically where the different activities usually take place. It is the place where we are having the talent, the equipment that are going to record that talent, including the cameras, the auto cue, the microphones. We are going to be having as well the floor manager there. The other section is the control room. This is the part that we usually control the way the entire production is being produced. Then we have the post-production, which usually concerns with the editing. That is, like for example, when we have sent our reporters in the field, we want them to come back and edit their work. They prepare the script and edit that work together so that it can be now voiced or can be used by the news anchors during a news program production. Then we have the master control, and again, master control, it is concerned on those programs that are trying to have a check on those programs that are pre-recorded. Then finally we have the transmission room, which houses the transmission equipment. So join me as we show you what happens practically. Hello students, and welcome to our today's session on broadcast equipment and studio operation, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, School of Social Sciences. Today, I would want us to be able to discuss a number of things, especially what usually happens in our studio and the equipment that we usually use in our studios. So to start with, the studio is divided into three major sessions. We have the studio floor, we have the control room, we have the master control room, or sometimes what we refer to it as the transmission section. Now, let us begin by trying to understand what usually happens within the studio floor, and basically we can be able now to start with trying to understand how the studio floor looks like. Now, to start with, when we look at our studio wall here, you realize that the studio wall is paneled. That is, we have what we refer to it as acoustic treatment of our studio walls. And what we wanted to achieve with that when we are treating our studio is to make sure that we can be able to regulate the sound that is being produced within that given studio. So what usually happens is that when you talk, there's likely to be a feedback on your microphone if the surfaces that we have on the walls, on the ceiling, on the floor, if they are hard surfaces. So what usually happens is that the sound is reflected back, and some of that sound will be able to find its way on the microphone once the talent or the performer says whatever he is supposed to say during a program production. Now, that's why you realize that when you go to any given production studio, especially that performance studio, or what we are referring to it as the studio floor, you realize that it has soft material on the wall, on the floor, and sometimes on the ceiling. Okay? Now, looking at this side, we usually have a way that we usually create the background to be able to simulate the kind of production that we want to produce. In other words, you want to enhance the kind of message that you are communicating within your production. Okay, so most of the time, like when you can have a look at our background here, whatever that we have used to be able to prepare this kind of background, it's what we refer to it as either hardwood or softwood or that plywood. So this is just a flat that we have come up with that we can be able now to do a number of drawings so that we can be able to get the kind of appearance on our background that will be able to suit the kind of production that we are producing. Okay, so in any given kind of production, you must make sure that that production has the appropriate kind of background. Okay, so there's no way that you will be able to convince your viewers that you, in a given particular location, if you cannot be able to give them that kind of background that can be able to enhance that information that you are trying to give them. Okay, so in our case here, we can be able to use this background so appropriately, especially when it comes to news presentation. Now, the other thing, apart from the background, you realize that within the studio floor, we usually have it set in a way that we can be able to fix lights either permanently or in a way that we can be able to adjust them. So if you look at our ceiling here, or when you look up, you can be able to see that there are bars of metal, okay, crisscrossing one another. So that's what we refer to it as the grid, okay. So the purpose of that is to enable us to be able to hang the lights on those metal bars. So the height of your studio should be high enough so that it can be able to allow for light, or rather, so that it can be able to allow that heat that is being produced within the studio to have somewhere where it can be able to escape to, so that later we can be able to pump out that heat by use of the air conditioners. Okay, so make sure that, or if you are involved in a particular studio construction, or you are asked for an advice on what to consider when studios are being put up, it's to instruct that person that when they are doing that, they must make sure that there is adequate height so that we can be able to have somewhere where we can be able to fix that grid where we are going to be fixing lights. Also have some adequate space up there whereby the heat can be able to escape to. Okay. Now, apart from the issue of fixing the lights, you also want to ensure that when you are doing, for example, kind of aerial kind of a shot, you know, sometimes we use what we refer to it as the jib. Okay, so where the camera has to be able to be taken a little bit up so that we can be able to capture those kind of aerial shots. So that will be able to be possible if we have a studio that has an adequate kind of height. So apart from that, you know, even during these different productions, at times you will be required to use what we refer to it as the boom microphone. So for the boom operator needs some time to be able to move and also position the boom in such a way that we can be able to get that sound of the let me say this, we can be able to get that sound from the talent. Okay, so all that is why we need to have a studio that has some adequate height when it is being constructed. Now, moving on, within the studio we usually have some equipment. We have some equipment, okay? This equipment, we have what we refer to it as the studio monitor. And as you can see, we have one here. And the purpose of the studio monitor is to enable the talent, to enable the production team members, for example, the camera people, to be able to see the kind of program, or rather the kind of feed that we are getting from the visual mixer. Okay, so from there we'll be able to know which kind of a shot that the program director has selected. Okay, from there we will be able to tell what kind of an insert has the program director selected. So with all this, what we are saying is that this studio monitor will be able to be of much help to two people. One, to the talent. Talent wants to know what kind of inserts have been used. Okay, so that we can be able to know whether they were the right ones, especially this happens when it comes to issues to do with the news. We need to know whether whatever that we have introduced, whether it is the kind of actuality or whether it is the kind of the video that we introduced that has been inserted there. So when it comes to the camera operators, they would as well want to know the kind of shots that the director selected. So that now from there, they can be able to anticipate which are the likely next kind of shots the director is going to request for. So based on that, even though we know that the director will be requesting for these different kind of shots, then the camera person can be able to try and be able to ready and be able to profile the director within different variety of shots, because we know that when it comes to camera operations, we have different cameras, especially when it comes to multi-camera production. We have different cameras that are being used in that given production. So out of that, because now we can see that the director of the production has selected this given kind of a shot, now the other camera people will be able to be to prepare, so that now they can be able to give the director a number of alternative kind of shots. Now, apart from the monitor that is able to show us, apart from the video monitor that is able to show us what is really happening as far as our program is concerned, we also have what we refer to it as the audio monitor. And here we have an example of an audio monitor. Now, you realize that within our studio floor, as the talent and as well as the production team members, we want as well to be able to get to hear the program, or rather the sound of the program, how it is progressing and all that. So we'll be able to get it clearly from the speaker that you are seeing here, which we are referring to it as the audio monitor. As the production goes by within the studio floor, the quality of the images and the quality of the sound is strictly monitored. So the place where this usually happens is within the control room. So join me as we explore what exactly happens within the control room. Now, as you can see here, we have different equipment. We have audio mixer here that is in charge of monitoring the levels of audio for the different mics that are being used by the talent within the studio floor. Moving next there, we have a monitor that is used to set up the script that will be read using the auto cue. We have another section there for graphics. We have another section where we are going to be able to see the different outputs of different cameras within the studio floor. Okay, we are joined by the technical director here, who will be able to take us through the different equipment that are used here and their main purposes. Welcome.
Thank you very much. So, welcome to the control room. To start it off, this is where all the magic happens, and this is the room which has the most TVs in one single room. To start it off, we're going to start with sound. So, this is a sound mixer. These are that two physical input mixer, TF5 Yamaha. He's the one who is controlling the sound. So anybody who has a lapel mic or any sound input, it's going to be fed to this mixer, and this mixer it's going now to mix all the sounds to one sound and then take it to the other side. We're going to go to the other side. So basically here, so when you hear any sound from the TV, this is where it comes from, or any broadcast, it's controlled here. Moving on. So as the teacher said, we have a monitor here which has the script which is read through the teleprompter or the auto cue. We usually feed the script here, and then it's run through here. It displays on the other side. Next to it, we have this machine here. So this PC is used to do Skype calls, Teams, Zoom, name it. Due to COVID-19, most people are advised to work from home. So here, it's where we usually come and call. We call you, and then we send the feed direct to as a camera feed to the visual mixer. So we have different application now, like this is Skype. We have Zoom. It's already set, and then Teams. So that's all about this one. That's used for calling people on air, and then they are sent to the visual mixer as one feed. Next, we have this PC here. This PC is used to play the music under the bed. So different shows have different music beds, and this is the machine which is used to control that. Moving on, we come to this gentleman here. He's the one who controls all the overlays which are happening on the television. As you may call them, graphics on air. So these graphics, if you want to name tags or locations, is the person who controls that. The moment he puts the information here, it's sent directly the same to the visual mixer, and it's controlled here. Now the screens you can see above here, this is used to monitor this is what, when you're in the studio, this is what you can see, like the studio feedback. This is the camera which is going on air. And then next we have this, a modified monitor. We can use it to monitor other TV stations, or we can use to monitor other TV stations, or maybe he can use to see the graphics before he puts them to the visual mixer. And then next, that's the on-air TV. That's where we monitor, after we've broadcasted, what we are showing, what other people are seeing out there. Now finally, we have now the whole production, the whole juice of everything happens through here. So this is our visual mixer. We have different visual mixers, but for us we are using the TriCaster 8000. And here you can see you have different inputs, different audio levels, different overlays. And right now they are doing the COVID-19 updates. And then we have this microphone here. So this is what Alice will use to talk to somebody who is in the studio. You'll give them instructions on what to do, on how to sit, on or which position they are going to do. So this is the producer's mic. If this is not working, you can use this. And also this is used now to talk to the camera persons, to give them instructions on different shots which they require, or which the producer wants. So basically that's the general overview of a control room. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Bwana Technical Director, for even going ahead and telling us how you usually go ahead and communicate with the technical, with other technical people within the studio floor. So as you have heard, we have what we refer to it as the intercom. Okay, so we need to be communicating directly to the presenters or to the news anchors. We need to be communicating to the camera people. We need to be communicating to the floor manager, so you are able to see what we usually use. So that's I believe you are able to get what usually happens within the control room. So we move on to the master control room. Well, we have been able to understand what usually happens within the control room, that that particular section of the studio is there to control the live programs, that is the visual quality of the images there, and as well as the audio quality. Now let's pop in to the master control room and try to find out what usually happens in this other side of the studio. Now this is our master control room, and as you can be able to see, we have different monitors or different TV screens that you can be able to see different members of staff working on different stuff on each of their machines. Now joining me is the technical director, and we are requesting him to go ahead and try to explain to us what usually happens here.
Hi, thank you very much for doing this stuff. So welcome to the MCR. The MCR basically means the master control room. So as it suggests, it's the master. It controls everything that you want to go on air. So starting off, we're going to start from this side. So the two monitors are the ones which are used to stream out to different social media avenues. We have Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And then, apart from that, we have this PC. This PC is the one which is used now to control the programs which are pre-recorded, like something which is not live. And then it's taken as one feed now to the main switch. This is the switch. This is the monitor that determines which feed is going to be broadcasted out there on air. So for now, you can see we have source number 1 and source number 2, of which the one in red is source number 2. Source number 2 is the one which is on air. People at home, that's what they are seeing, and this is the source that you are seeing at home. And now source one is the automation. Automation is showing you all the programs that are being scheduled here, and you can see them there. So the moment they are done with the live, they are going to switch to automation. Automation, you can run automation throughout. You can even schedule everything for a year and then go. So automation will just run. Yeah, I think that's it. This is the MCR. Thank you.
So you have heard master. You know what master means, eh? Master is the overall. So it means that it simply means that whatever was happening within the control room and whatever that is happening here or any other given section, all that is put together within the master control room. So one important thing that the technical director has mentioned is that we can be able to program all the programs, and we just go, and the computer will be able to play each and every item that ought to be played for a given period of time. Once the program is ready from the master control room, all those signals of those different programs are sent into this room, and the room itself, we are referring to it as the server room, or in other words, the transmission room. So this room houses the equipment that are able to generate now the carrier wave that will be able now to carry the program signal to the different TV sets, whereby now the listener can be able to switch on their TV screen and be able now to listen to the program. Okay. So when it comes to TV news presentation, we need our news anchors to be fluent and to be able to give us the factual information. So for us to be able to do that, we are assisted by what we refer to it as the teleprompter, or in other words, the auto cue. So what usually happens is that there is a script that is prepared early in advance, and it will be now run from a CPU or from a given computer machine that will be able now to bring that information to our auto cue here. So here it's just like the monitor that will be able to display the script that has been titled, that is being run from the CPU. So this monitor will be able to reflect the information on a glass up here, or semi-transparent material, that when the news anchor looks at the lens, as you can see, as we have attached to the camera here, the news anchor will be looking directly to the lens of the camera, and at the same time, he or she will be able to read that information that is flowing from the auto cue.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era. and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.